Lots of accolades, thank you. She worked for the Minnesota Chippewa tribe, helping with the development of their GED program and the incorporation of Ojibwe culture in the Head Start program on the Leech Lake Reservation. Ms. Buckanago was also one of the founding forces behind the creation of both the Upper Midwest American Indian Center in North Minneapolis and Four Directions Charter School, later starting the foster care program for the Upper Midwest American Indian Center. She was a busy woman. She also added in the creation of the American Indian movement in early 1960s. Although Ms. Buckanago served the state of Minnesota in numerous ways, including serving on the American Indian Mental Health Advisory Council, she fought tirelessly against state-backed injustices and worked relentlessly to uphold the Indian Child Welfare Act. She fought to preserve indigenous cultures and ensure that future generations of children could grow up with the pride and security that had been deprived of indigenous people for generations throughout government policies. Ms. Buckanago is survived not only by her children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, but also through the legacies she left behind and the impact she made in Minnesota and across the country. She was a resilient champion for educational equity, a compassionate guardian for youth, and a fierce advocate for indigenous rights. Please join me in honoring Gertrude Evelyn Buckanago for her remarkable service.
I get it, it's not easy being up here.
No, it's not.
So with that, I will take some of your questions. Okay, as always, don't touch the mic.
Assalamu alaikum, Congressman Omar. I'm a resident of St. Anthony and one of your constituents. If a Minnesota candidate outside of the Democratic Party, whether green, independent, or socialist, shared your core values, universal health care, workers' rights, nonviolence, socioeconomic justice, ending U.S. support for the genocide in Gaza, supporting divestment from Israel, and getting corporate money out of politics, would you consider endorsing or supporting them?
I would love to talk to you outside of this room. It is an officially sponsored event, so I can't talk to you about who and what I can support on the campaign side. But I will stick around a little bit to chat with you afterwards. Great shirt.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to also express how I am sort of distressed about the surveillance that the county commissioner described, and by people who were surveilling both the people who I was targeting and also those who were protesting the targeting. So I'm very sorry to hear about that. I'm totally surprised. I understand. The quick question that I have for Congresswoman Omar is, I missed a wonderful presentation, I understand, last night about election security. We obviously have quite a few threats to that. Can you at least briefly tell us what you recommend that we do so that we have fair, honest, inclusive, and trustworthy elections here in the state of Minnesota?
And what we do, you mean as citizens? You mean as, what can the people do?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, last night, our office, did a training, on, election security, and I would do this justice, I think, to the trainees if I tried, but I'll give it a shot. I think the three things that we walked away with was one, obviously, outside of those three things, there's a lot that elected officials are doing, those of us who are in Washington, D.C., there's work that our governor is doing, there's work that our Secretary of State is doing to protect our democracy here and access to it. There's stuff that is happening on a county and municipal level. It is a whole of governance approach. But for individuals, they said there were three things that they should do. One was know the rules. Figure out when people are supposed to be registered, what the deadlines are, figure out if your registration is up to date and correct, and then the second thing they said was make a plan to vote, become a democracy navigator, where you are helping your neighbors or friends who might not have as much the knowledge as you have, and then obviously report if you see something that doesn't look right to you. And we are figuring out actually how to put the PowerPoint that was presented into our website. There are some laws with the logos that were associated with the PowerPoint. It's my understanding that we're trying to figure out how to get through that and post it, like we had the Know Your Rights for immigrant communities that we posted on our official website. So that information hopefully will be available to everyone in the next few days.
Yes, my name is Sandra Crump, and I'm from District 59, and I'm concerned about Hennepin County Medical Center in particular, but about healthcare in general. I'd like to know if you could speak to the federal monies that have been stopped or cut off or are not coming here like they used to, and what that means to the local people. Some of it has gotten to the state now, and they've authorized a lot of money, but I don't know where that money's coming from. So can you tell us what's going on with the money being stopped from the feds from coming here?
Well, I mean, there's two pieces. There is the attempts by the administration in trying to stop the resources we are entitled to from the federal government in punishing Minnesota and in trying to get into a fight with our governor and our attorney general. It is my understanding that with the lawsuits that were filed by our Attorney General, Keith Ellison, that we have been successful in almost all of those lawsuits to try to make sure none of our money was frozen, and that we continue to have access to those resources for our state. And then there is the second piece of the legislation that was passed last summer. The Republicans call it the Big Beautiful Bill. I call it the Big Ugly Disastrous Bill. It was a piece of legislation that cut nearly $1 trillion from Medicaid and Medicaid funding. That is going to have an incredible impact, not just on Minnesota, on Minnesotans, but people across this country. We estimate that it could cost the deaths of 45 million people if that bill continues to go forward without there being some pushback and ways ways for us to address the gaps, especially in rural communities, and especially in hospitals where they are a Trauma 1 hospital. To answer the second part of your question with HCMC, luckily our state legislators and the governor and Hennepin County were able to intervene. They were able to get them the resources to keep them afloat and make sure that HCMC will continue to provide the necessary health care that not just those of us who live in Hennepin County but across the state have relied on. So right now we're afloat. Obviously there are tragedies that are looming and we will continue to work to address those. Thank you for your question.
Thanks for letting me ask my question. So as a constituent and a resident, I'm really concerned about the political persecution of our 15 peaceful protesters that were arrested last month, alongside the Broadview arrests in Chicago and the inhumane and politically driven sentencing of protesters in Prairieland. It seems really clear that the DOJ has become weaponized to stifle and discourage our First Amendment political dissent. I'm wondering if there's anything that you think the Democrats could or will do to protect our First Amendment rights in that regard.
Well, constitutionally, your First Amendment rights are already protected. It is an unconstitutional move to weaponize the Justice Department against people in this country for exercising their First Amendment right. And so I just want people to understand that. What the DOJ is doing, what this administration is doing is unconstitutional. It is illegal. And it is designed to intimidate people from wanting to exercise their civil rights and their civil liberties. And what we are doing, obviously, is to try to make sure people are standing up to this administration, that they are not cowering, that they are willing to understand that the law is on their side. We've seen many of the cases that have come before be dismissed because they had no merit. I continue to believe these cases will also be dismissed. I continue to believe that the future cases, it was recently announced or is expected that there are more cases that are coming in the next days or weeks. And I also believe those will be dismissed. Right now, it is essentially designed to say to people that we will turn your life upside down if you dare to stand up to the unlawful actions that we are carrying with your name and in your name. And I think that not being intimidated is the most American thing we can do. Good with that?
Hi, my name is Adrienne Gelbach. I live in the Sheridan neighborhood in Northeast Minneapolis, and I want to thank you for your service. I really appreciate everything you do and everything that you stand for. I have probably about 100 things I would like to ask, but the main thing I want to ask is, how do we as citizens in this country remove this administration? Seriously, I mean, that's like my serious question. What are Democrats doing, and what are the plans to remove this administration? Woo!
Well, in the United States, unlike some of our counterparts that have a parliamentary government, we do not have the ability for members of Congress to do a vote of no confidence to get rid of an administration. And even if you were to impeach one, the succession will continue, which is at the moment all of them that are the problem. And so in this country we have elections, and the elections determine who gets to govern this country, regardless of what the Republicans think. And so we do have a little over 2 years that we have to put up with this administration until we have elections in a little over 2 years. Any other questions? Why don't we take this side, because we already took one in the middle. No? Oh, did you have your hand up? Oh, yes, sorry, okay, I didn't see.
Hi, my name is Jennifer. I live in Columbia Heights. And first off, I just wanted to tell you that during the Operation Metro Surge, 2 of your staff, Andrea and Nikki, were instrumental in helping me help 2 women from Honduras in our community with helping me get the paperwork they needed so I could go to the Whipple building and get her documents back after being detained. And helping me with my second person whose husband is detained for the second time, and just she was trying to get money into his account and trying to find him and all this kind of stuff. So your staff here is excellent. Thank you. Second, I have my younger son is autistic, and he was disabled until the law came into effect in January with the Social Security Administration that if you had applied for Social Security and you lost your case, which was last year, the state has to comply with that. So we just got the letter a week and a half ago that come January, my son will no longer have health insurance because of the big fucking beautiful bill that passed last summer.
There's nothing beautiful about it.
I know. So if you have a loved one who has a caddy waiver, which it took a lot of work to get that, and your loved one is thinking of applying for Social Security, please wait. Because it's not worth your child losing all of their other services because you tried to apply for Social Security with an attorney so that they could have some form of income. So thank you again for your staff, and please everyone just continue to do the work that needs to be done.
Thank you for that. One, yes, please give my incredible staff a round of applause. Two, I was at a supportive housing for adults yesterday. Ali, you're blocking me from her. Thank you. I was at a supportive housing yesterday, and many of the people who gave it was a listening session, many of them who gave their testimony where we're talking about this lapse. It is one of the agencies that we liaison with. So if there is a casework that we can do on behalf of your son, please reach out. Ladan, I think, has the healthcare portfolio, so there might be something that we might be able to do there. But yes, it's unconscionable that this is where we're leaving people in this sort of limbo, and we're taking resources from people who desperately need it just so that billionaires and millionaires can get a tax write-off for their 50 opt. It's insanity. We have one right there, Ali, mask. And then the gentleman with the hat behind him after that.
Hello, I'm Adam, a teacher. I come to a lot of these. Thank you so much for your continued presence despite all of the attacks on government officials we've been seeing. I wanted to ask about our future president, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, has a new bill banning AI state level